Do you want to know how you can browse and get paid by using slides and if it really is worth it? Then this video is for you. My name is Michael and I love testing different ways to make money online, and many viewers have asked me about this fairly new option called Slides, where you can just install it and then you earn passively just when browsing the internet. And let me reveal right away that yes, you potentially can earn that way, but there are also some important details you need to consider before deciding if this is for you or not. And I will reveal all these details in this Slides review and show you exactly how it works so you can find out if this is the right opportunity for you or not. So let's start by going over the basics of what Slides is. And it is an extension for Chrome, and you can download it, as far as I know, from more or less all countries. How much you can earn will probably vary depending on the country you live in. That's just how it is with most options like this. But it's a passive way to potentially earn, because you see that you add it to Chrome and it's free, and then it will run and it will kind of like in a way take over ads you see on different websites and things like this, and then it will show its own ads, and then they will share some of the revenue they earn with you, and that way you can earn. So you can see now I have it installed here in my browser, and it also has a dashboard so you can open it on the web if you want to see the settings and all these things. But this is basically how it works. But let's first talk a little bit more about this when you're installing it before we go more into how much you can actually earn and if it's worth it. So when you go to the Chrome store, it's very easy. You just click to download it and install it, and it will just take you through. It takes a few seconds. One thing you need to be aware of is that it asks for certain permissions. And one of the permissions it asks is to allow it to edit all info on all websites you are using. Personally, I feel, I understand why they need to do that, because if they need to display their own ads, but I just feel a little bit unsafe by allowing an extension to do that. And also be aware that it can sometimes give issues with certain websites you're using. I've tried that similar like this in the past, like if you use some online banking or so, sometimes there can be some things that interferes there, so you can't use it. So just be aware that there can be some issues. So if you suddenly see issues like that on certain websites, then it might be because of that. Then you need to use another browser for that. That's just a little side note that I've experienced with extensions like this. Also, you give it access to actually administer both extensions and apps that you have here in Chrome. That's what they require. You cannot start earning without that. We'll talk a little bit more later about my potentially concerns about this, but for now let's focus more about how much you can potentially earn and exactly how it works. So when you have Slides installed, you can see you can either turn it off or on, and now it's on and it's blue there, you can see, and you can see my earnings there, and you can see the value in dollars there, and then that's it. I can now just browse around and websites. Sometimes then I will get ads like this instead, and then I will earn. So you don't really have to do anything actively, and then it will just start building up like this. So I can understand why it seems very appealing to earn by watching ads, because you think like, oh, but like I want to get paid for ads I watch. Well, maybe it's actually good to watch ads once in a while online because that's a part of how creators earn. And if you like watching, for example, videos on YouTube, content on websites, people that have those websites and those YouTube channels like mine, we couldn't do this if we couldn't get any kind of money for it, because we spent a lot of time creating quality content. And that's one thing to consider, that why let something else take over to earn a few cents here and there if you actually like finding free content online, because it can take some of the earnings potentially away from your favorite creators. And eventually, if everybody did that, creators couldn't create anymore, because we spend a lot of time doing it and money also. So that's just a little extra thing to consider. But also to find out if it's worth it or not, let's talk about how much you can earn and how you can get paid. So right now, as of recording this video anyways, Slides, or Ad Slides as they also call it, is in beta, but I don't know how long it'll be in beta. Maybe it's out of beta by the time you watch this. I don't know. But what they're saying when it comes to the earning potential is that while it's in beta, you can expect a decent guess, they even say, because again, that can vary. So between $3 and $5 a month, potentially, maybe, and they hope that in time, when they get bigger and things like that, maybe you can earn $10 to $15 a month for the same browsing activity. But it doesn't say anything about how much you need to browse for that or anything like that. So the earning potential, not big. Even, the biggest earning potential maybe eventually $15 a month. That's what you can expect. We'll talk a little bit more about whether I think it's worth it or not in just a few seconds. Let's first talk about the payout options, because the payout options are of course also important to know, and you can see they pay out via Bitcoin Lightning Network and PayPal. So the payout options, in my opinion, are quite good, at least. So that's a great thing. But is it really worth it? Let's just talk a little bit more about that, because I have some quite clear thoughts about that. So I can understand why Sly seems appealing and why so many people have asked me about it. There are just some concerns I have about it. First of all, that you allow it access to administer apps and extensions, and that you allow it to edit data on all websites you're using. Whether you feel safe about that or not, that's up to you. I'm also not like a developer, so I can't say like exactly what will they use it for or not, but I can just say that I use my browser for all kind of like private things also, like banking, bookkeeping, all kind of things. And I just don't feel safe that I have an extension that I have allowed to administer data on all websites or edit data on all websites, because that's basically what they ask for, and also to administer different extensions on my browser. So that's just my personal opinion. If you have any thoughts about that, please feel free to share below. It would be great to hear other people's thoughts on this as well. Another aspect to consider is that different platforms that kind of takes over ads, again, as I mentioned earlier, how I see it is like I love watching free content both on websites and YouTube, and I know ads can be annoying, but I also know every time I watch an ad, it's kind of my payment, you can say, for getting free content. If the creators could not earn, they would not be able to create content. That's one very important aspect to say. If you want to watch content without any ads, well, then you would have to pay for it. So if you want free content, ads is kind of necessary for that. That's the same with TV shows. If they did not have all kind of sponsors where we had to watch some pitches for that once in a while, so like we wouldn't be able to see all those TV shows without paying a lot of money for it. So that's just an extra thing to consider. And then a third aspect is the earnings are very low, in my opinion, compared to what you give them access to. Maybe you think it's great to do this to potentially in a year or so be able to earn $10 per month. Personally, I don't think that there are many other less invasive apps and extensions or passive ways to earn that can earn you more. I'll leave a link below to a list I have also of the best passive income apps in my opinion and experience. I'm not saying that there's anything not legal or that they're doing anything wrong with Slides. This is just my personal thoughts about it and why I'm not really using it, because the earnings just doesn't really justify it in my personal opinion. But when it comes to watching ads, yes, it would earn you decent money, you can say, compared to many other ways to earn by watching ads. I also have like a video about the best ways to watching ads and things like that and what you can expect from that. I will also leave a link to that below and in the top corner, just so you have something to compare with, and then you can make your own decision whether this is the right option for you or not. But no matter what, I hope this video gave you some good insights and gave you an idea about whether this is for you or not. And if it did, then make sure to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.